Mazda's enjoyed a golden run in Australia, with the CX-3 being a prime example. It immediately became a top seller in its segment.
But in order to keep it ahead of the chase in pack, it's been given a minor update for 2017. So let's check it out. So Danny, when I say it's a minor update, it really is a very small nip and tuck for this car because it was brand new only back in 2015. So there wasn't a lot for Mazda to do in the last 2 years, but the model we're testing here, the Akari diesel all-wheel drive, top of the tree, it does get a new steering wheel, it gets some extra power adjustment for the seat, and a few extra safety goodies on top of an already pretty comprehensive safety package for this model. But other models in the range, the base car, the Neo and the Max, get autonomous emergency braking as standard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that you've got the added safety technology in the lower base models. As for this one, like, the interior looks really nice. You know, I like the leather seats, I like that contrasting red, it looks sporty. But Steve, being a top spec model, I'm disappointed to see that there's still a handbrake. I would have liked to have seen an electric handbrake, and it would have given a bit more room, because really there's not much room here. And you know, speaking of room, I guess that's the other issue I probably had with this car. Rear room is pretty tight, and the boot is really small. It's not that much bigger than a Mazda 2, and if you've got kids and you want to put a pram in, it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze.
This is just a taller Mazda 2, so you're not actually, the impression is because it's an SUV you're getting a bit more space, but the reality is very different. Yeah, like you say, it is very tight in the back, and the boot is, it has got a false floor, so you do get that little bit of extra room underneath while still having a pretty good load height. But yeah, I agree with you, it's pretty tight space wise all around. And yeah, like I say, I would love a lidded console box down here, would be really handy. You know, you got a couple of cup holders, but generally speaking, there's not a lot of covered storage space in here to leave, you know, your odds and ends that you don't want lying around for people to see. But enough about the actual package into the car. What about the driving experience? Because it's all about zoom for Mazda. The Akari is equipped with a 1.5 litre turbo diesel. What do you make of it?
How about I tell you after you give me a go?
Alright, fair deal.
So Steve, the interesting thing for me about this driving experience was I found it that the more I drove this, the more I enjoyed it. So I quite like diesel. You know, there's a difference to petrol, but it takes a bit of time to enjoy it. But overall, I felt that it was, you know, refined and just a well-mannered car. Yeah, look, there's no doubt that with this, in this type of car, I think the diesel is actually the pick, just because it has a bit more, you know, bit more torque, a bit more pulling power. The petrol engines can sometimes feel a little weedy at times, you know, a little bit sluggish. Whereas the diesel, you get a bit more torque and it just feels a bit punchier, but it does come at a price premium, obviously. The disappointing thing for me is, yet again, Mazda talk about how much quieter it is. They've worked on refinement, but still reasonably noisy for this class of vehicle. I think, you know, there's still room to improve on Mazda's part there. Yeah. Yes, Steve, there's a bit of diesel rattle. I don't mind it too much. What I do like is the steering. It's quite well weighted. I know Mazda have done a bit of work on it, but you know, this G vectoring, you know, is it a point of difference, or is it just a fancy marketing term?
Yeah, Mazda has made a big song and dance about G vectoring control that they've added across the range. You know, in simple terms, it adds a little bit of torque when you're cornering, just to add a little bit of weight to the front of the car to help a car get around a corner. On the plus side, it's very well integrated. You know, you don't really notice it that much. Realistically, does it make a huge difference to the way it handles? No, it doesn't. But you know, it's really just an extension of the stability control system. This is what Mazda's built their brand on, is this zoom philosophy, and that's having, you know, good driving dynamic is a big part of that, and you know, the CX-3 lives up to that. You know, it's clever stuff, but it all comes at a price, and it's a hefty price for such a small car. This thing is nearly 38 grand. I mean, you're not going to get much change from 40 grand once you put this thing in traffic, which to me is a heck of a lot of money for such a small car. When you think about it,
it's not that much different to a Golf or a low-spec Audi Q2, and so part of me would think, you know, why don't I just spend a little bit of extra and get that?
Yeah, well, I must sort of look at the other way around and go, is this car really worth another $16,000 over a top-spec Mazda 2 GT? Because you basically drives the same size, same style, you know, and it's a heck of a lot of money. So for me, I think Mazda, you know, It's a good job. I can understand why it's a popular seller, but for me, I'd rather just sit a little bit lower and save a ton of cash.
Yeah, look, I'd have to agree with you. I like everything about it, bar the price.